Hovering above the shattered nexus of the multiverse, a lone figure stood against the cosmic chaos. Kai, the immortal weapon, felt his internal system pulse with a dire warning, its text glowing in his mind's eye. Final timeline detected. Ultimate threat, PSES. Before him, a colossal rift ripped open the fabric of reality itself. From within, a being of unimaginable scale emerged. It wasn't just a creature, it was a living embodiment of infinite energy, time, and consciousness, woven from every single timeline Kai had ever touched, every reality he had ever saved or shattered. Its voice, a symphony of a billion echoes, boomed across the endless void, shaking the very foundations of existence. Kai, you've grown far too strong. For Kai, this wasn't just a threat. It was the source of all his pain, the architect of every struggle. Rage, pure and hotter than a trillion suns, erupted within him. His immortal weapon, an extension of his very soul, pulsed in response, resonating with a power he had never known. Infinite, multiversal resonance. He clenched his fists, muscles coiled with cosmic energy, and his voice roared back, a defiant cry against the impossible. I am Kai, I am the immortal weapon, and I will not be stopped by you, or anyone. With that, he launched himself forward. A blur of motion, a comet of pure, destructive will. He attacked with a symphony of violence, a combination of every skill he had ever learned, every echo of himself he had ever summoned, every devastating strike he had ever delivered across all of space and time. Reality fractured around them as sparks, explosions, and temporal shockwaves lit up the dying multiverse. The final battle had just begun. The manipulator, this god of all realities, struck back with effortless might. Existence itself, twisted and warped at its command. It bent matter, folded space, and summoned ghostly echoes of Kai's greatest failures, specters of his past sent to haunt and break him. But Kai's system was already screaming a new alert, a truth he felt in his core. Enemy level, infinite plus S threat, existential collapse imminent. There was no holding back. Kai unleashed his ultimate technique, activating absolute temporal domination and fusing it with Omni fusion infinity. He became a paradox, a living singularity. He struck not just in the present, but across all dimensions simultaneously, countering every one of the manipulator's attacks before they could even form. Sparks flew like new galaxies, being born and dying in an instant. Waves of pure energy and shattered reality crashed against each other. But then, a new horror emerged. From the deepest shadows, the cloaked figure, a constant, mysterious presence throughout his journey, revealed its final, devastating betrayal. It was an ally, someone Kai had trusted from his very first timeline, now fused with the manipulator's terrifying energy, their face twisted in a mask of dark power. The betrayal hit harder than any physical blow. Rage surged, hotter than ever before, a supernova of fury. Kai's immortal weapon sang a song of vengeance, its resonance now harmonizing with infinite timelines at once. His strikes became a fluid storm of destruction, targeting both the manipulator and the betrayer simultaneously, a dance of godlike power that sent flashes of light across all visible worlds. Citizens on countless planets looked up, witnessing a battle beyond their wildest comprehension. And through it all, Kai's voice thundered, a promise to the cosmos. I will not fail. I am the immortal weapon. The manipulator, facing this unprecedented assault, adapted. It split itself, shattering into an infinite number of forms. Each fragment became a living representation of an impossible reality, a potential future, a fractured timeline that should never have been. They swarmed Kai, a legion of paradoxes and broken dreams. His system pulsed frantically. Enemy adaptation, absolute, maximum power required. This was it, the absolute limit. The immortal weapon in his hands began to glow, its light outshining every star in every galaxy combined. Kai didn't hesitate. He activated his final, most devastating power, dimensional eradication, Omni Infinity. With a single thought, a single will, he struck every single fragment across every single reality, all at the same moment. The multiverse screamed. Sparks and raw energy erupted as the infinite fragments began to disintegrate under his relentless assault. Reality itself trembled, threatening to tear apart under the sheer godlike force of his attacks. Amidst the storm, the cloaked figure, the betrayer, appeared beside him, its voice a chilling whisper that cut through the cosmic roar. "Kai, surpassing me, surpassing it, may break everything. Are you ready for the cost?" A moment of hesitation. No. It was a collision. The searing heat of his rage met the cold, hard steel of his determination. His voice, now amplified across every timeline, thundered his reply. "I am Kai. I am the Immortal Weapon. I will face any cost." Every strike was now twofold, an act of destruction and an act of creation. He shattered the fragments of existence while simultaneously stabilizing the collapsing timelines around him. He disintegrated enemies that defied the very definition of comprehension. The final battle for all of reality raged on. Kai's immortal weapon, a blade of pure focus and infinite power, struck the last remaining fragments of the manipulator. A storm of sparks, light, and raw energy tore through the dimensions, a final blinding crescendo. But even as he fought, the sting of betrayal burned within him, a poison that fueled an unparalleled rage. His system pulsed, not with a warning, but with an evolution. New skill. Unlocked. Eternal temporal sovereignty. All powers infinite. He had broken his limits. He had broken all limits. Every strike was now an act of ultimate control. He shattered impossible realities as if they were glass. He manipulated the flow of time itself. And he disintegrated his enemies before they even had a chance to exist. On countless worlds, citizens screamed, a mixture of awe and primal fear at the power they were witnessing. The cloaked figure, the betrayer, descended once more, its form wavering in the chaotic energies. The whisper returned, laced with a strange hint of desperation. "Kai, even if you win, the universe itself may collapse under your power. Are you ready for that?" Kai's pulse surged, a drumbeat of cosmic finality. Rage, vengeance, and a will of iron collided within him. He was no longer just a warrior. He was a force of nature. "I am Kai. I am the Immortal Weapon, and I will not fall." A final defiant roar. Sparks and energy rippled across the fractured skies as the last fragments of the manipulator were wiped from existence. Reality trembled, groaning under the weight of his victory. The ultimate confrontation, the one-on-one duel he had been fighting towards, was about to begin. Silence. For the first time in an eternity, there was silence. Kai stood alone above the nexus, the multiverse's heart, which was now slowly beginning to heal. His immortal weapon blazed with a calm, steady light, and his system delivered its final triumphant message. Last timeline cleared, eternal temporal sovereignty achieved. The manipulator, the god of all realities, had been disintegrated into infinite shards of harmless energy, which now worked to stabilize the timelines across the vast multiverse. The battle was won. Slowly, the cloaked figure approached. It reached up and removed its mask. The face beneath was not one of malice, but one of pure awe and unadulterated fear. "Kai, you have surpassed all existence, but beware, the final threat awakens." The words hung in the void, a chilling premonition. The fight was over, but the war was not. A new feeling surged through Kai, a cocktail of his righteous rage, a cold bloodlust, and an unwavering determination. He clenched the immortal weapon, its power now an infinite, undeniable part of him. He looked out into the endless expanse of reality he had just saved and spoke. not just to the figure before him, but to whatever lurked in the shadows beyond. "Bring it." His voice was calm, absolute. "I am Kai. I am the Immortal Weapon, and no one, not even the concept of existence itself, will defeat me." A cascade of sparks and pure energy erupted from him, a beautiful, terrifying display that rippled across all realities. Citizens of 1,000 worlds gazed up in wonder and reverence. Kai had conquered the last timeline. He had become something more than a god. And yet the whispers of a final, ultimate enemy promised that the true climax was still to come. The story of the Immortal Weapon was far from over.